factually inaccurate.
Morally correct. This is Babylon Bee Radio. Our top story. Tensions flared today after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russia of sending espionage agents into his country to place little Nazi stickers on all his soldiers' helmets.
The fact that my entire army is wearing Nazi insignias on their uniforms and gear is entirely the fault of Russia,
said Zelensky while desperately scraping an I Love Hitler sticker off the side of a tank.
This is an unforgivable provocation. I hereby call on the United States to drop all their atomic bombs on Russia immediately.
Sources say Russia is also responsible for tricking Ukrainian soldiers into goose-stepping, saying Heil Hitler, and calling for the death of inferior races while waving flags with swastikas on them.
Russia has tricked thousands of innocent Ukrainians into becoming Nazis,
said MSNBC foreign correspondent Alexander Petrovich.
Because their evil know no bounds. They must be stopped.
Later, during a public Zoom call with U.S. Congress, Zelensky emphatically claimed,
"The Russians, they blew up our dam,"
while still holding a detonation plunger thingy commonly seen in cartoons when things blow up. Zelensky then asked everyone to be on the lookout for the chief suspect, a short man wearing green army pajamas who was seen escaping the disaster on rocket skates.
It was probably Putin himself.
The dam disaster comes just months after a dripping wet Zelensky pulled a Baltic sea bass out of his trousers, then announced that Russia had blown up the Nord Stream gas pipeline in the Baltic Sea.
The most patriotic way to fight evil Putin's evil Russia is by sending $60 billion to fix our precious dam. And for other things,
said Zelensky while brushing chunks of concrete from his hair and shoulders. He then ended the Zoom call by strapping on a jetpack and flying up through the ceiling of one of his mansions. Congress has since approved $60 billion in aid for Ukraine, including another shipment of Acme dam blastomatics and pipeline destructo scuba bombs. Interstellar peace talks broke down this week after Pentagon officials were unable to adequately explain the intricacies of all 437 Earth genders to aliens from outer space.
Okay, for the last time,
said General Lloyd Austin during the third hour of talks with extraterrestrials.
Demigender are people who partially identify with one gender at the same time as another. This is totally different from bigender, which is when a person identifies as two genders and can switch between them. Do you understand now? This isn't at all confusing.
The aliens spoke via telepathy, communicating easily without the hindrance of language barriers, yet were still unable to understand why their human counterparts kept derailing talks about joining an alliance of free planets to argue that sex and gender are two different things, or even that a developmental condition such as autism can be a gender.
Dumb aliens. Listen, everything is gender, even this table is a gender.
President Biden was present at the meeting but was unable to communicate due to a failure by alien life forms to create a telepathic link to his brain.
Is this man even alive?
Asked Xylor Seath 4.
Is corpse a gender?
It can be. You're catching on.
Pentagon spokesperson Jean Tangerine told reporters,
"Honestly, this is a big part of why the government's kept alien life a secret for so long. They're super bigoted and not ready for the public."
At airtime, Xylor Seath 4 had asked to speak to Tucker Carlson instead. A local surgeon specializing in gender reassignment has come under heavy fire recently as his critics complain he is still stubbornly only offering male or female as options.
"This doctor is so behind the times,"
said Trixie Sunbreeze, an LGBTQ+ activist who's identified as 38 different genders in the last 6 weeks.
"How can you present yourself as a friend to the trans community when you hatefully only allow people to become males or females, as if those are the only two genders? Bigot."
Dr. Rick Barnhouse, who's practiced medicine for 30 years, doesn't understand the criticism.
I'd like any of these people criticizing me to explain to me how to actually apply any of these other supposed genders to an actual human being's body. I mean, what are these other genders supposed to be anyway? Demiflux? How's that even a word, let alone a gender?
Despite Dr. Barnhouse's extensive experience and the respect he's garnered by mutilating the bodies of children and removing their genitalia, activists continue to decry his, quote, narrow-minded work.
"You can't tell me he doesn't know how to perform surgery to make someone gender fluid. It's basic science these days. Someone who is gender fluid deserves the opportunity to have interchangeable parts, like Mr. Potato Head, but with genitalia. It's so simple."
Dr. Barnhouse stated he's still unsure how to perform gender surgeries to approximate something other than male or female.
I remember when performing sex change operations was controversial in and of itself, and now I'm a closed-minded hater for not turning people into fantasies. Go figure. I'm beginning to think this entire gender theory stuff is really bad for people. Please don't tell anyone I said that.
According to sources, California Governor Gavin Newsom is condemning the recent trend of charter flights full of illegal migrants arriving in his state as, quote, cruel and unusual punishment.
What kind of heartless bully would load migrants onto a plane and send them to California of all places?
Said an angry Newsom in a statement from his private banquet room at the French Laundry.
We don't even have water, electricity, or housing here. Whoever is doing this is inhumane. No migrant should be forced to live in a state with so many problems. Not that any of this is my fault or anything.
The governor's calling on law enforcement to find out who is responsible for the flights to the sanctuary state of California so he can send them back to a place where they can at least have a shot at a better life.
This is cruel and unusual punishment. Whoever did this should be ashamed. Migrants deserve better than a place like this.
Upon seeing the state of California, the arriving migrants elected to return to Ecuador. The Dulles International Airport has announced an additional convenience for travelers arriving at the nation's capital. Starting next week, passengers will be able to skip the hassle of waiting at the baggage claim and will instead be directed directly to Sam Brinton's house.
We're thrilled to be offering this new streamlined baggage recovery process,
said Washington Port Authority President Weston Jabba.
No longer will travelers have to wonder whether their valuable luggage is in the baggage claim or in Sam Brinton's closet. Now, they can take a shuttle directly to his house to pick up their stuff.
Sources with Dulles International assured passengers their belongings will be safe and secure, although some articles of clothing may be searched and worn by the cross-dressing former nuclear waste official before being returned to their owners.
This was the only compensation he requested in exchange for his services. I say that's a great deal.
At airtime, the airport had offered to save customers even more time and headaches by canceling all flights into D.C. altogether. Hosts of the daytime talk show The View completely shut down Republican candidate Tim Scott's claim of tremendous racial progress in America by donning Klan hoods, sources say.
I believe this country's made tremendous progress in race relations.
Began Tim Scott as the hosts suddenly pulled out white pointy hoods and put them on their heads.
Hey, what are you doing? What's going on here?
The hosts then began hurling racial slurs at the confused senator, while the audience clapped as the signs telling them to clap had just turned on.
You're a bit too successful and uppity for your own good, Tim.
Said Whoopi Goldberg.
You're supposed to be terrified of racism and white supremacy. Shame.
The hosts then began to chant while lighting a cross on fire. The controversial episode has doubled Scott's Republican primary poll numbers from 1% to 2%. In a burst of energy and glass shards, everyone's favorite kid beverage giant unveiled its newest mascot, Kool-Aid Woman, at a press conference on Wednesday.
The youth beverage industry has been a boys' club for too long,
Kool-Aid Woman said, standing below a glass ceiling with a large juice pitcher-sized hole in it.
I'm here to let every round, flavored drink-containing little girl out there know she too can one day shatter the glass ceiling that has so long held us beverage babes back.
Kool-Aid Woman says she will represent a growing call for representation in the blue raspberry, very berry, and charkleberry fin industries.
We are thrilled to announce Kool-Aid Woman to our youngest drinkers.
Kool-Aid CEO Phineas McPhee told investors,
Now every little girl in America can aspire one day to burst through a wall, a gate, or a hedge, yelling, "Ooh yeah!" at surprised and slightly terrified children.
Classic mascot Kool-Aid Man told reporters he was thrilled with the addition of a Kool-Aid Woman to the team and hopes her presence will lend the brand a softer, more feminine touch.
Oh yeah!
He said in an official statement. At airtime, Kellogg's had joined in with the announcement of the first female Pop-Tart. Popular clothing retailer Lululemon has announced additional firings, this time for employees who refuse to offer to bag stolen merchandise and load it into looters' getaway vehicles for them.
We have a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to not helping thieves,
said Lululemon CEO Calvin McDonald.
At Lululemon, the shoplifter is always right. Any effort whatsoever to engage thieves or stop them or show any pride in being an employee of the company is a clear violation of this policy.
The latest firings come on the heels of 2 associates being terminated after calling the police to report shoplifters at the Lululemon location in Atlanta, Georgia.
The safety of our employees and customers comes first. Plus, the stuff we sell is absolutely overpriced crap, so it's not worth anyone putting themselves in danger for anyway.
The company has reinforced its position on thieves, refusing to allow any employee to engage, confront, or do anything to stop them from stealing store merchandise. When reached for comment, the thieves voiced full support of the company's policy.
Oh heck yeah, dude!
Said one of the shoplifters, who asked to remain anonymous for some reason.
I'm gonna tell all my friends that we can just clear out any Lululemon store we can find!
McDonald also announced Lululemon stores would be having a 100% off sale starting immediately and lasting until the company went out of business. A local man was excited by the announcement of Apple's new augmented reality headset, but was left disappointed by the high price tag. Unable to afford the new headset, the man has found the next best thing by duct taping his iPhone onto the front of a pair of old ski goggles.
It's pretty much exactly the same.
Claimed Jim Butcher while looking around the room with the new contraption on his face.
Saved me a bunch of money while giving me the same thrill. Look, my notifications pop up directly in front of my eyes. I can't read them because they're too close, but wow!
Apple has faced criticism for the $3,500 price of its headset, making it a difficult sell to individuals who have struggled to make ends meet in the most basic ways over the last 2 years of economic decline. Thanks to the innovation of industrious men like Jim Butcher, however, a wider segment of the populace can look forward to augmented reality and severely damaged eyesight.
Who needs to shell out $3,500 when you can do this?
When asked what features his makeshift headset offers, Butcher was proud to list the available apps.
You can check the weather forecast up really close. You can also scroll through Instagram, but you can't really make out any of the pictures. And YouTube, it's like you're inside the video. You just can't really see what's going on.
Apple has confirmed they'll soon be selling a Vision Lite, which is just a roll of duct tape to attach your phone to a pair of ski goggles. The tape will retail for a more reasonable price of $1,300. In a show of goodwill toward the loyal young employees who make its success possible, Apple has announced they'll allow their child laborers in Asia to wear the company's new virtual reality headset to help them feel like they're at a playground during their 18-hour shifts.
We figured, why not give a little back?
Asked Apple CEO Tim Cook.
The billions of dollars our company rakes in each year comes on the backs of these small but mighty wonders toiling away in factories overseas. The least we can do is make their grueling workdays a little bit better.
Though the company has faced criticism over the years for its use of alleged sweatshops in China and other countries, Apple's leadership is hoping this new initiative will smooth things over.
Apple now say, wear headset when working.
Said 8-year-old employee Zhao Baohuang.
I now see beautiful mountainscape and unlimited episode of Ted Lasso. Very good. My family eat meal this week? Please, yes.
After unveiling the new headset product, Apple was expected to introduce a new line of virtual reality environments that will make life more enjoyable for its employees, including virtual trips to Disneyland, virtual vacations to exotic locations, and virtual programs that will make the children feel like they're sitting at virtual tables of food.
Virtual food that looks so good, you can almost taste it.
B Radio features officially curated content from the Babylon Bee, scripted, voiced, and produced by Austin Robertson. Additional voices in this episode from Brandon, Dan, Jarrett, and Robin. Don't miss an episode. Like, subscribe, rate, and review B Radio on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts.